Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here on this absolutely beautiful day here in San Diego. And a very special thanks to Steve from the OB Noodle House for having us here. Thank you very much, and we all look forward to having lunch afterwards. We are here on this beautiful afternoon to celebrate more common sense solutions coming out of City Hall. There are over 3,300 restaurants within the city of San Diego, and they are the largest contributor of taxable retail sales in the city. However, the profit margin is very tight, just about 5 cents for net profit for every dollar that's earned. So for many restaurant owners, being able to maximize the number of tables and guests is a critical element to their survival. One would think that in a city as beautiful as San Diego has for this beautiful weather, that year-round sidewalk patios would be a perfect way to achieve that goal. But as current regulations stand, restaurant owners and operators often face lengthy, costly, and unpredictable permitting process. And for some, the permitting fees cost more than $12,000, and that's before the cost of construction. And for our smaller neighborhood restaurants, this was simply an impossible ask by the city. So we wanted to help this industry, and especially the smaller neighborhood restaurants like this one right here, the OB Noodle House, by reducing both the approval time and the costs that are required for a full barrier for outside patio dining. So under the proposed new regulations, restaurant owners would have a new configuration for their outside cafe. They will be able to have a single row of tables about 4.5 feet from the building, and that still allows a clear path of travel on the sidewalk. There would be no barrier, and so it would be free open dining like you find throughout Europe. The restaurants, the way that it currently stands is they need to build these barriers, but they would no longer need to build the currently required full barrier that can take several months to approve and tens of thousands of dollars to construct. Restaurants would, however, still have to follow. That's what they'll get. This will be the ambiance, right? The ambiance for the outdoor cafe. Okay, restaurants would still have to follow all other regulations related to alcoholic beverages because that's controlled by ABC. These changes were brought to our attention by the Restaurant Association during regulatory relief, which I spearheaded during my first year in office. We have been working on this for over a year now. It will be going now to the Planning Commission next month, then to my committee, Land Use and Housing, in March, and then hopefully expedited onto the City Council for full approval so that by this summer we can see sidewalk diners right here. So I'm really pleased the city will be able to offer these businesses the option of adding the cafe dining with less bureaucratic fees and processing time and allow it to open up sooner than it has before. So yay to reducing burdensome regulations, yay to reducing the cost to our small business owners. Common sense is here at City Hall. And now I'd like to introduce our council president, Todd Gloria.
Thank you, Lori. I see we have a very respectful trash truck driver here who wants to get through if we can make way for him. Thank you, guys. Good teamwork right here at OB. I love it.
That's right.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Councilmember Zaff. Wonderful to be here with Lori and with our colleague, Councilmember Kevin Faulkner. Lori took you through some of the changes that we're trying to bring to help our restaurant industry. I want to explain a little bit about why this makes sense. And as she outlined, it's just a common sense thing to do. But what you need to know is that this makes dollars and cents for our city. And let me explain a little bit why. In the 3rd Council District, which I'm fortunate to represent, we've seen firsthand the transformative impact of a thriving restaurant cluster can have on the vibrancy of our neighborhoods. Communities like downtown, Hillcrest, and North Park have seen an influx of restaurants that have breathed life into our neighborhoods and business districts for the benefit of residents and visitors alike. Whether you want to be there during the afternoon or an evening out in the town, the restaurants are really the draws that do that. As also has been demonstrated in the report that's being released today, restaurants are a catalyst for community vibrancy, and they are a powerful economic driver. A little public transit too.
You can get here by bus.
According to the most current data available, restaurant sales are the largest contributor of taxable retail sales in San Diego County. Taxable sales at San Diego restaurants in 2012 are projected to exceed $2.9 billion. That's billion with a B. Citywide, there are 3,315 restaurants that employ over 51,000 San Diegans. In my council district alone, there are over 1,000 restaurants providing close to 20,000 people with jobs. Every dollar spent in restaurants generates an additional 63 cents in additional economic activity in the San Diego economy. And that's why the San Diego City Council has worked to streamline processes and reduce regulations that will enable our restaurant industry to continue to thrive. I want to thank the California Restaurant Association, the National University System Institute for Policy Research, as well as council members Zaff, Faulkner, who have led on this effort, and all of my colleagues for their ongoing support of our restaurant industry. Again, this is common sense reforms that mean dollars and cents for our city. Now it's my pleasure to introduce my great colleague from District 2, where we sit today, our council member, Kevin Faulkner.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And as Lori said, it's always a beautiful day in Ocean Beach, California. So I see all of my OB neighbors here, and that's one of the great things about Ocean Beach is not only here, of course, with at OB Noodle House, but we have many of our community representatives, other restaurant owners. Dave, great to see you, who are very supportive of coming together to support not just this community, but this common sense rollback of regulations. I want to thank Stephen, owner of OB Noodle House, Stephen, for hosting us here today. And I also want to thank all of you who have spent all of your time and effort to get us here today, particularly my colleague, Lori Zaff. Our message is simple, and it's one that we want all San Diegans to hear. We live in a beautiful city with fantastic weather, and you shouldn't have to pay thousands of dollars for a permit to eat outside. Once approved, this legislation will expand upon the restaurant relief package, which the City Council unanimously adopted with strong leadership from my colleagues here today last November. We have spoken about burdensome fees the restaurants have to pay for the city for permits. But in the beach communities, coastal regulations can double the cost for a small business owner to obtain a sidewalk permit. This is the end of the road for these burdensome government fees and the beginning of more sidewalk dining for San Diegans. As our next speaker will mention, restaurants are now the #1 contributor of taxable retail sales in the city of San Diego. That's money that we can use to pave roads, clean beaches, and keep police and firefighters out doing what they do best. When restaurants and small businesses win, San Diegans win. Last year's restaurant relief ordinance was fair, it protected tax dollars, and it supported local business. I'm very proud to support this effort today, and I'm confident that the City Council will move forward. We've did it before, let's do it again. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mike Morton Jr., President of the California Restaurant Association. Mike.
Thank you, Kevin. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. And I just want to thank the council members present today. Council President Todd Gloria, Councilwoman Lori Zaff, and Council Member Kevin Faulkner. I live in his district, and I'm proud to have him as my councilman. But they've really taken a proactive approach to be business friendly and basically a common sense approach. It's simple. Put some seats out on the sidewalk, create a buzz, get more people into the OB Noodle House and all the others to follow. It's going to help grow the economy. As the economy continues to be a little bit stagnant, restaurants are one of the bright spots. We're adding jobs, we're adding dollars to the cities and communities that they're a part of. So I applaud the council, the city of San Diego, all their efforts on behalf of all our members of the San Diego chapter of the California Restaurant Association. I really applaud these folks. Keep up the good work. And we are adding good jobs. I just want to echo the comments that were made earlier. It's been said that we add a lot of low-paying jobs. Well, I'd like to refute those comments, and there's actually a report that's been put on by National University. We commissioned it, and Vince Vasquez is here today, and he's going to expound on those comments. So, Vince, if I could invite you up.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I have copies of the report here if you wanted to take a closer look. What we had found was that restaurant owners really are an economic engine here in the city of San Diego. The majority of restaurants in the county are based here in the city. The majority of those who work at a restaurant are working in restaurants here in San Diego. I think it's important to recognize, as Councilmember Zaff had mentioned, that there really is too often a small net profit margin for a lot of restaurant owners. Very small changes in regulations, very small changes in the economic climate that we live in today can have a very serious and measurable impact on restaurant owners. Really targeting efforts to address regulations that affect the industry also affect other industries. If you facilitate more renovations, more upkeep and more upgrades in restaurants, well, that's the adding of hundreds or thousands of construction jobs, one of the hardest hit sectors in San Diego. And one of the things that we also found is that in terms of wages, indirectly tipped workers in restaurants here in San Diego actually make more than twice the state minimum wage, and those directly tipped make more than triple the state minimum wage. Those are real dollars that are being placed into the pockets of San Diego families. If there are any other questions, I'd be happy to answer afterwards, as well as distribute reports as well. Thank you.